What is going on, everybody? It's your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri. And last night, we saw the end of an era, potentially, with the New Orleans Saints as they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30-20. Tom Brady and the Bucs were able to take advantage of many mistakes from the New Orleans Saints and get the win in the divisional round, sending them to the NFC Championship game against Green Bay next week in Lambeau Field. But today I want to really talk about Drew Brees and what his current situation is with the New Orleans Saints. Now, I think a lot of people were, moved with some of the things that transpired post-game for the Saints, for Drew Brees, jogging off the field for what could have been the last time as a New Orleans Saint. Some of the emotion that was tied into that obviously plays a big part because of what he means to the city of New Orleans and how he has been a huge figure in New Orleans since arriving there after leaving the then San Diego Chargers. Now, with everything that's going on with Drew Brees, there's questions about whether or not he's going to return next year. A lot of people think that this is it for him, that he's going to hang it up. Now, when speaking on the game itself, it wasn't a good game for Drew Brees. Drew Brees had probably one of his worst outings as a New Orleans Saint. He threw for 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Now, I will say that not every interception was Drew Brees' fault, but I think that it's safe to say that we all can agree that Drew Brees as a quarterback right now is not the same as he's been in the past. The arm strength is clearly just not there anymore. Rarely have we seen Drew Brees in the past few seasons press the ball down the field with throws. There's been a lot of short routes, a lot of 5, 6, 7-yard routes. His ball doesn't travel through the air that far. I think that it's safe to say that we can all look at that and say, yes, that's true. He doesn't have the arm strength. He can't get the velocity quite on the ball. He can't get the velocity on the ball that we've seen in the past. And that is, those are signs of the end generally for quarterbacks when you're not able to get those things done as a player, as the central piece of an offense that is designed and operated mainly by Drew Brees. Now, I don't say all these things to pile on Drew Brees or to say that, he's not a good quarterback. Obviously, Drew Brees is one of the GOATs of the NFL. He's one of the greatest in this era and one of the greatest of all time at his position. Funny enough, I have little connection to Drew Brees myself, as I am also a Purdue alum, and that is, Purdue University, which Drew Brees comes from Purdue. Drew Brees is also from Plano, Texas. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I grew up in Garland. Those are Garland and Plano are all in the Dallas Metroplex. So there is obviously some pride to be taken there. Drew Brees is probably the most he is the most celebrated player in Purdue history. They have a street named after Drew Brees in West Lafayette, Indiana. He's heavily involved with that community. Now, with all of those things being said, I do want to take a look at a few things from the game last night that, kind of give us maybe a small tease into what's going on and where the paths for Drew Brees may be heading in the future. And I want to start here with this scene during the course of their game against the Tampa Bay Bucs when it was a minute left in the game, and Drew Brees is seen here in what many people are speculating is the moment where he kind of passes the torch from being the leader and the central piece of the Saints to Jameis Winston. Now, you Saints fans out there can tell me more than I can actually tell anyone in this video whether or not Jameis Winston is qualified to be the successor for Drew Brees and whether or not the Saints should be looking to draft or sign a quarterback in free agency. But it appears here, and there's really no audio to go with this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of play it so you can try and decide for yourself. There's a little bit that you can read in his lips where it seems that Drew Brees is saying, "Hey, something, this is your team." Or this is your team now, something to that effect. If you look at him while he's talking here, he looks over to Jameis Winston, taps on him, and it appears that he tells him that this is your team now, or this is your team, and I think that's a really great gesture on Drew Brees' part. That just shows his sportsmanship that he's had as a leader in the NFL over his career. This is a guy who takes a lot of pride in the city of New Orleans. He takes a lot of pride in his role as a leader for the New Orleans Saints. And he has taken in Jameis Winston with open arms since he joined the team. And I'm sure he's tried to help Jameis Winston in his maturation as a quarterback, and try to instill some of his principles as a leader for the team in Jameis. And I hope that does work. I hope that Jameis Winston does have an opportunity to vie for that position and be the leader for the Saints moving forward. I mean, he did have the biggest play of the game for the Saints in a wildcat formation where they actually subbed Drew Brees out, and he threw I believe it was a 63-yard touchdown pass that put the Saints ahead of the Bucs, and really, was a huge boost for the Saints at that time. And you could see that there was a moment of celebration between Drew Brees and Jameis Winston in that moment after he threw that touchdown. And that was something that, as a player, I see that, and it makes me very proud of what Drew Brees is doing. And kind of looking inwards and saying, hey, it's time to pass the torch on. It's time to look to the future for this franchise. And of course, he'll still be in the picture. But should he decide to retire after this season, that's one. Even though it wasn't the best game, it was an ugly game. But there's still that sentiment that this guy is a class act in the National Football League, regardless of any other extenuating circumstances that people may take in part of their opinion of him. So going on from that I also wanted to take a look here at a comment from Tyrann Mathieu, who is one of the premier players for the Kansas City Chiefs on defense. Their free safety. He is New Orleans native, and he had something to say in regards to the potential that this was the last game for Drew Brees. He says on his Twitter, being from New Orleans, Drew Brees meant everything to us in that city. At many times, our only hope, to smile and feel good, to live in a winning reality. That man gave us all life. None of us are perfect, but he was close. Salute. 9 forever. And he tagged Drew Brees in that post. And I think that is something that is a very respectable thing for Tyrann to come out and say, because he understands the importance that Drew Brees played, the important part that Drew Brees played in bringing the city back post Hurricane Katrina. I remember still to this day that first Monday Night Football game after Hurricane Katrina, where the New Orleans Saints were the featured team and the Saints won that game. That was a huge game. Huge game. It was kind of the ringing of the bell and bringing back the city of New Orleans into the fold post that disastrous occurrence back during, I believe it was 2000. I don't remember exactly what year it was. I think it was 2007, 2008, something like that. But it was an amazing moment. It was an amazing moment for the city of New Orleans, and Tyrann Mathieu has shown his respect to Drew Brees for that. As for his end of the game exit from the stadium, I thought this was another great moment, looking here at how Drew Brees left the field. It seemed to be a very moving moment for Drew Brees himself. You see here, he's blowing kisses to the fans, blowing kisses to maybe his family as well. But you can see kind of in this moment right here, that there's some pain. There's some pain there. There's some reality kind of setting in that this might be the last moment he walks off this field. The last time he walks off this field as a New Orleans Saint in his career. And those are moments that are really full of all kinds of emotions for athletes. I mean, I remember, and this is obviously not the same as Drew Brees, I remember my last high school football game. We actually lost the last game of the season trying to get into the playoffs in Texas, Division 10 5A. This was like the top division in the state. And our our district was the 3rd ranked district in the state of Texas. We had 2 state championship teams in our district in 3 years, and we were playing to get into playoffs. We win and we're in. And, I was a senior that game. And, after losing that game, last minutes in the locker room after the game was over with, everything just kind of hits you. I cried like a little baby. But obviously that's not the same as, having an illustrious NFL career such as Drew Brees had. But nonetheless, you can see that there is that moment where you kind of realize it. And then he takes that look back. He takes that final look back just to look one more time at the stadium itself. That was his cathedral, his place of work. That's his house. That was Drew Brees' house for a very long time in New Orleans. And I'm sure that, everyone who's a fan of the Saints and everyone who is a fan of football, fan of team sports, can appreciate this moment for Drew Brees and recognize that, regardless of how it ended, the career was a very special career, which will no doubt end up in Canton, Ohio, with the Hall of Fame induction. First ballot, I'm sure. But let me know what you guys think. Drew Brees, is this going to be his last game of his career? And how do you see his career playing? How did you see his career playing out? Do you think that his career probably went a little bit too long? Do you think that it's just about right? Leave your comments down below. And if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the Observant Lineman Uche Nwaneri if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you guys so much for checking out this video, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.